The Shannon in the Morning Big Show podcast.
You're listening to the Big Show 5-year anniversary celebration on CBS-FM.
6:05, 5 minutes after 6 a.m., Friday, March 1st, 2019. People are straggling in here. Ryan said it's nasty out there.
It is nasty.
It is now.
Horrible!
Scott, I couldn't go over 35 miles an hour.
Oh, that had to kill you.
It killed. I can walk faster than that.
She usually rolls about 85, 90.
I'm stuck behind a late model Lincoln Town Car with rear wheel drive doing 22 miles an hour on 280.
Right, and there's only one lane that was passable. I know, believe me.
Now, Ross came in from way out in Jersey. How were the roads there?
It was great, but I got here about 4:30, so.
Wow. And you were south, coming from south.
Yeah, I was coming from south. It hadn't started snowing yet.
Now, Brad had a long commute.
Yeah, Midtown Manhattan, but all coming down. Yeah, it was a slow Uber drive here.
Yeah. What's up in Westchester? Anything?
No, it's snowing, but it's not bad. The roads are good. What happens is when it's not that bad, they have all the trucks out. When it's horrible, nobody's out.
Yeah. I feel like
what is up with that? When nothing's going on, it's a state of emergency in New Jersey.
There's salt everywhere. Yeah. I feel like I need to give you the Heimlich with that throat of yours. What's going on there?
I'm trying. I don't know what happened. I just woke up and I had it. That's why Ross is here. He's got to step in any minute.
I've got to pop the frog out of you.
No, it's not.
Pop the Kermit.
We got the whole crew here. Good morning, everybody.
Very proud of you for making it this morning.
In case you are wondering, we're here in the radio.com theater, beautiful Hudson Square. There will be a blast-off today. We also have some special guests today. Taylor Dane will be here. Mm-hmm. Kevin Nealon will join us today. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And we have, I think Stu Leonard's going to check in this morning.
Cool.
I told you he had to read a book to a bunch of kids. I think it's neat. Read a book.
It is.
Read Across America Day in honor of Dr. Seuss.
Yeah.
So he's reading a Dr. Seuss book, I would imagine.
Which I'm doing next week. I'm not sure why they're doing it a week later in Montclair, but that's when I'm doing it. So.
Patty announced this week that she was doing it later today.
And the teacher was listening, and she called, no, not today.
I said, hey, goofball, what are you doing?
Next week.
What are you doing? Well, guess who was back in town last night? John Tavares, the hockey player. Yeah, the welcome was not that warm, remarkably, Ross.
Really?
The Islanders just trounced the Maple Leafs 6-1 at the new Nassau Coliseum, but the real story was how kind the fans were to John. Oh my God.
What did they say to him to make him feel welcome?
Well, I can't really repeat some of the chants. Hockey fans have special chants.
Yeah.
I think the only one I can really give you is, we don't need you.
Oh.
We don't need you. In case you don't know what happened.
Is it true they don't need him?
No, they
do need him.
6-1. They don't need him now. But,
I need him last night.
We do need you.
No, they won. Yeah. I mean, John got whipped.
Oh.
Got it backwards. The Islanders play the Caps tonight at the Island. She's not the sports fan. Don't worry about it.
No, but you said.
No, I said he used to be with the Islanders. He left. He abandoned. He snuck out in the middle of the night. Left a picture of him in, what was it? He had on some pajamas and all the Maple Leafs gear in his bed when he was a kid kind of thing. So he said, wear your pajamas. They went all over him. Knicks lost to the Cavs. That's the end of that winning streak. Cavs beat them at the Garden 125-118. 2 games they won.
Oh, wow.
I thought they're trying to tank, though. Don't they want that? That's what Spike wants.
Well, he's not on the team, though. That's the problem. He thinks he is on the team. Coming up today, big show, celebration. Taylor Dane, Kevin Nealon, Bob Saget will check in, Maury Povich, and more. 5 years on the air.
Wow.
At 101.1 CBS-FM.
Shannon in the morning and the Big Show.
Da 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 da. Meet the Flintstones.
What? On CBS-FM.
Not just the Big Show, but our 5-year anniversary with a live studio audience. My name is Ross Britton, along with the crew here. And got to say thank you to Stu Leonard for providing breakfast for our 5-year anniversary. For not just us, but the entire studio audience. See how much fun food shopping can be at Stu Leonard's. And thanks to Duncan for providing the donuts and coffee.
Oh, yeah. And coffee.
Yes.
Yum.
Coffee.
Lots of coffee.
Coming up, the song of the day worth $1,000. We'll talk to Maury Povich this morning. Stu Leonard himself will check in. Taylor Dane will be here later on as she helps us celebrate our 5-year anniversary. She was there for the summer blast-off.
Yep.
Out at Coney Island.
Remember how hot she looked?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Did a great job. She can also sing.
Yeah.
She's got a great voice. Bob Saget later on, and Kevin Nealon will be here. Also, 2 radio superstars with us this morning.
Wow.
Where?
I got Mr. Dan Taylor. He stops by.
That's actually Taylor Dan.
Oh, look at you go.
You know what? That's why you and Elliot get along so well.
Yeah.
They're like 2 peas in a pod.
Well, we also have a fleet of
They
planes.
put me in my place right away. They put me in a high chair over here before when I came.
And please say good morning to Broadway Bill Lee.
Isn't this spectacular? Almost ejaculous, and you know what's miraculous?
Well,
That, Scott, even at your advanced age, you can
Made it
still
here.
say relevant, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's great.
It's true. You wouldn't believe how many disc jockeys I talk to. They go, Broadway, it's kind of like you're Obi-Wan Kenobi, and Scott is like Yoda. And I said,
Yoda?
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
I don't want to be Yoda.
I said, well, you've seen our headshots, obviously.
I don't want to be Yoda.
No, it's really like that in the hall. Scott will stop me and go, this one time in Georgia, I brought this girl into the studio.
All right. You know, why the hell did I even bother to introduce these two?
you know, I think
I could have
somebody
ruined this show by myself.
Who put the gray goose in the water cooler is what I want to know.
I wish.
I just saw Jason Block, the cuckoo clock, our game show expert.
What's up, guys? How are you?
He's back there, and I've been wanting to talk to you about what the hell is going on at Jeopardy. Whoa!
No, that is a mess.
What is that mess?
That it's not a mess. It's the first time in the history of the show they brought back 18 players in a team format.
Yeah,
and
okay.
they're playing for $1 million.
Yeah, but how do they decide who plays when and what?
Well, each player can only play.
I'll be back to you in a minute when you finish the explanation.
This is like picking
Yoda hasn't got time for that.
This is like picking apart a basketball game.
Yeah, but it's just
let's move along.
It's just weird. It takes them so long to explain it. Even Alex himself said, "I'm not sure I understand what's going on here."
It's a little confusing, but it's a hell of a lot.
A little confusing.
A little bit.
All right. It is a little confusing. John Elliott checks the forecast, and it doesn't look pretty. It's confusing also.
Well, what happened with the girl in Georgia, though? That's what I want to know.
You better do your little Yoda work.
Stuck out on I-78.
So here's the deal. It is nasty out there right now, just enough to really slow you down. We're talking about snow through the morning commute, then 37 this afternoon. There is another round tonight, so don't forget, tonight, more snow, changing over closer to the coast, but a couple more inches possible out by you, Patty.
Yes.
Saturday,
and you.
Yeah, I know. Saturday starts wet, then 40, and then Sunday night, please pay attention. That starts as snow, changes over to rain during the period Sunday into Monday. Still a wild card on the track of the storm. And then next week, by the way, hello March, it's going to feel like the teens. High on Tuesday, just 30 degrees with 40-mile-an-hour winds. 26 degrees right now, 37 sloppy degrees later today.
Now, Dan did, for many years, work the morning show, and he had a New York legend working with him, Mr. G.
Yes!
All right? One of the great TV personalities of New York TV or radio history. And you guys were side by side, for you shared a bond. And
good guy. He was a good guy. Still is a good guy.
I was going to say, yeah, he's still with us.
I hope he's still
a terrific, fun guy.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say he's still alive. I'm happy.
Well,
he is. I see him on TV, still there.
Yeah.
At one point, he decided he just didn't want to get up anymore to do the morning weather, so we had to go out and find
what?
A cheese ball replacement. And we got one.
Perfect replacement.
When did
Glad I'm sloppy seconds.
Yeah,
Well,
when did this anniversary turn into a roast?
Well, Mr. G had a special way with words.
Yeah.
And the other thing was, you never ever knew what he was going to say.
Well, that kept you on your toes in the morning.
Oh, yeah,
But
it certainly did.
fun. Wasn't it fun?
Now-
Guys, you listened, of course.
I tell you what, who bonded with him was Brad Blanks. You guys
I love that guy.
You guys had a few cocktails together.
Yeah, we go and have a few drinks out in Midtown
And
Manhattan.
G doesn't drink, so, it must have been
Well, he would
interesting.
watch you, though. Didn't bother him. So, Brad, Kermit, Patty, and Mr. G went to an Australian bar for the World Cup. And they came back the next day, and we discussed it.
Australia is the name of the bar, right?
Yeah, the Australian bar, 38th Street between 5th and 6th. Matty Astle did a great job. I mean, this is his time to shine. He loves the World Cup and big events.
You know, everybody jacks up the prices all around that bar. I wanted to buy some cufflinks. The guy wanted $150 for it.
My cufflinks?
In a bar? Yeah, well, I ripped them apart. I got so excited.
What the hell is he talking about?
Brad, can you explain this?
No, he said no. And you know what? Let's just leave it right there. What? They don't sell cufflinks in a bar.
No, just beer and nice meat pies.
All right, well, good for you. Good for you, Mr. G.
What just happened? I don't know. He does that all the time. Remember that one about his exterminator? I don't understand it. I like that guy.
A soccer game. Next thing I'm talking about is cufflinks.
Every so often, people come up to me and say, "Why are you mean to Mr. G?" I'm not trying to be mean to Mr. G. Mr. G just comes up with stuff out of the clear blue. We don't know what he's talking about.
I wish we had a web camera in here so you could have seen Scott's face when he starts talking about cufflinks. Thanks, Joe.
I had to try.
Clear blue.
Scott's face was actually pretty good, because in the old days, Scott's face would have went really bad really quick.
Yes.
But Scott gave you a 7 to 8 second chance there.
I did.
And you're really nice about it.
It's got to be going somewhere.
In the old days, he would throw something across the room.
Why would anybody talk about cufflinks unless there's a punchline?
Yeah. I don't know.
The old days, Mr. G.
We used to joke in the morning with G that he was 76.3% accurate for yesterday's weather.
Yeah. Wow.
Love you, G, if you're listening.
6:49. He's one of a kind. 6:49. Big show coming up. The official $1,000 song of the day as the broadcast continues from the radio.com theater.
All right.
You're listening to the Big Show 5-year anniversary celebration on CBS-FM.
7 minutes after 7 a.m. It was about, I would say, 5.5 years ago. I had a meeting with one of the new owners of of PLJ. And the guy had decided for me that it was time to retire. And I said, are you talking to me?
What?
And I said, I understand that one day you're going to have to, I'm going to have to retire, but that's up to me to decide, not you, jackass.
Wait a minute. Did you actually say that?
I swear to God.
Jackass, sir?
That's when I got mad. I just said, you know what? You're not going to decide. I'm deciding, jackass. And I said, and you know what? You're making the wrong move here, but you have a good life. And today, we sit here at a big success, 5 years, right at the top or near the top.
Yep.
And meanwhile, over there, they got a fire sale going on. It's never pleasant, or it doesn't make me happy to see people lose their jobs. But they didn't mind me losing mine.
It was amazing because you left there, and sometimes you think, okay, well, people will hang on for quite a while before they just slowly start. There was no slow drift away. It was like this and this. When you walked out the door, came over here, and it was like this.
It was a blessing, as they say. It was a blessing in disguise. I love working at CBS-FM. We put together a family of people who are positive and uplifting and happy.
Love each other.
And we really care about each other, and we have fun every single morning. And we're losing one of the members of our team who's been with us from the beginning.
Our baby.
Trevor Martin, a.k.a. Kermit the Wonder Frog. We've already got your replacement. YouTube Neil brought in a stuffed Kermit. We got it sitting up on the table here. We'll take a picture.
I don't know what it means that I'm being replaced by a plush toy, but hey, thank you. Appreciate that.
And you've had a good time with us. You learned a lot. What the heck? Were you driving the prize van when we got you? What were you doing?
I was doing commercial production here, and shortly before that, yes, I was driving the van around.
Louis, I said, we need one more guy to help out. Louis said, well, we got some kid back in the back.
Yeah, we can get him.
Bring him in here.
Well, it was well planned out. They said, Lou's going to have a baby. His wife's ready to pop any day. You think he could fill in with Dan? I'm like, yeah, sure, whenever, one day. And the next day, I walk in, and Scott Shannon's in the control room.
Oh,
and I'm
crap.
Like,
holy heck.
Everything's going to change.
A lot happened. You lost about 100 and some pounds. You picked up a beautiful wife.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And now you move on, and you're going to be the captain of your own ship.
Yeah.
Yep. And it's funny because I've met so many great people here, and you guys really took me in. You've worked with Patty before, and Ross has been great, and with Dan and Brad, I've met all of you and come together, and with the next adventure, I wouldn't be able to do that and know the things that I know. And you said it really well this morning, that subtly and all the things that you've taught me, Scott, and everything that I've learned from everyone else, but everything that you've taught me about radio, I never thought I would ever be on the air or talk at all. I always just
You're barely doing that right now.
No. Stop.
You're all hard. It's his last day, Scott.
Yeah,
for crying out loud.
You be quiet.
You can barely talk.
Let him speak.
I always just wanted to be creative and make fun radio things like imaging and all the $1,000 stuff that you guys hear. And Scott gave me an outlet to make the bumpers and all the sounds and the contesting with Joe when he was here. And I've learned a lot from you. And
now you're taking it away and giving it to someone else.
Giving it to someone else, and I wouldn't be able to do the next job where I'm going if it wasn't for you. And I appreciate you, and I love you greatly. Aww. And hopefully I get a hug. But
good luck with that.
Yeah, that's not gonna happen.
I don't know if we're going to have time for a hug.
Yeah, he's sick.
I feel like I'm sending my baby away to college.
You got another kid going away to school.
Yeah, that's what it's like.
This
I think
will be cheaper.
It's so much. It's so good for you.
Trevor, congratulations. We're all very happy for you.
Thank you. And Patty's my second mother, and Brad makes me laugh, and I know what jokes not to make because of John, and I wouldn't know.
Really? On your last day? Look at your replacement.
And you were defending him. Good luck, Trevor. We love you, buddy.
We'll meet you down the
street.
You
guys. Dan, Broadway, and Causey.
You will be met.
Checking in this morning, a guy who has become the king of DNA and the lie detector test. Maury Povich.
All right, Scott. Yes. I'm just here for your big anniversary.
That's right.
Season 21, Maury.
Yeah, I know.
I'd like to check
Scott,
Scott's
you and I
DNA.
go so far back, it's ridiculous.
You know what? People think I've been around a while till they see you.
Yeah.
And they say, wait a minute, he's been on TV forever.
I figured it out since I started a current affair in the 80s. It's 33 years. Oh, geez.
Wow.
Now, you're right on the set right now, correct?
Just about. I had to drive up from the city. I live in the city, and I drove up to Stamford at the Rich Forum where we tape our shows, and I'll do two today. Just what you said. One lie detector test show and one DNA show.
You know, you are the only person, we looked this up, you're the only person in the history of syndicated television to have back-to-back super successes that span over 30 years, because you started out with the current affair and then the Maury Povich show, and then you went just Maury.
Yeah, well, like you, Scott, if we hang around long enough.
Something good happens.
I remember seeing you on TV down in Washington, D.C. previous to a current affair.
Yeah, that's true. I did a show called Panorama.
Right.
Which was a very successful talk show, and we started it way before CNN or any of those other all-news channels started, and it was like a noon to 3 show, and everybody in the city watched it, including the White House and the Hill, and we had a great time.
What pushed you towards a current affair type shows?
Well, I was anchoring the news at Channel 5 in Washington, the 10 o'clock news, and then this wild Australian named Rupert Murdoch bought the company.
Oh.
And then had this idea of to bring me and a lot of Australian producers together and reporters and move me to New York in 1986. And he said, if it doesn't work out, you'll go back to Washington. And I said, what, like summer camp up here? And I've been held hostage ever since.
Talking to Maury Povich, his TV show, Maury, weekdays at 9 o'clock on Pix 11, bonus episodes at 10 a.m. You know, my daughter works in D.C. She's an attorney, and she called me, I don't know, maybe 2 months ago. We were talking. She says, Dad, you know Maury Povich? I said, yeah, because we ran into you one night there at the Breakers. And she said, did you know his father was a famous newspaper writer? I said, yeah, honey.
Sports guy in Washington, yeah.
He was...
he was. My father, Shirley Povich, was a sports columnist of the Washington Post for 75 years. So.
What?
Oh, my God, we got some work to do, Maury.
I know it.
Holy crap.
Whoa.
I'm a newbie.
Never catch him.
75 years?
Yeah, he got there at 17 years old.
Wow.
A man named Ned McLean was the owner of the Washington Post before the Eugene Meyer, Katharine Graham family, and he started there, and he died at 92 the day after he wrote his last column.
Wow. I'll tell you one thing.
Legendary guy.
This guy, you talk about good. This guy was really, really good. I grew up reading this guy named Bill Murray.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Not Bill Murray. What the hell was his name?
Red Smith, Bill Murray.
Yeah, all these great, and your father was right up there with him.
Yeah.
One of the great sports writers.
They were like a triumvirate, those three, in terms of the golden age of sports writers.
You should be very proud. We got a few more years to go before we match his record, Maury. Good luck, my friend. Thanks so much for checking in today.
My pleasure, Scott. Nice to talk to you.
Maury Povich, 9 a.m., Pix 11, bonus episodes at 10 a.m. Yeah, his dad was a great
75 years at one place. Will we be here for 75 years?
I'm just getting going here. I'm just getting going, man.
Yeah, we'll be here a while.
Stu Leonard checking in.
Hi, Scott. Hi, Patty. Hi, Brad. Hi, everybody.
We met you when you had one little store, and now look at you with an empire.
Hey, Scott, I was thinking that was like almost 20 years ago.
Wow. God, thanks a lot.
Way to go, Stu.
Remember you asked me to come down one morning? I had to get up about 4:30 because you and Patty are up so early. And I backed out of my garage with the Moo Cow van because I was bringing breakfast.
He has a real Moo van.
Yeah.
And I backed right into my daughter's car. Remember that?
Yeah, I remember it.
Thanks to you.
Was that Blake's car? Or Matt? Whose car was it?
Blake's.
Blake, yeah, I thought it was Blake's.
She's the same age as your daughter.
You know what? He's surrounded by all women. There's no male DNA in this guy.
That's right. Hey, Scott, like I say when I come home at night with a house full of women, I'm always crying. Someone in the house is always crying, and it's me.
Yeah.
So you couldn't be here this morning. Now, what school are you going to be at with Dr. Seuss Day?
I'm going to be at a local school in Norwalk, Connecticut.
Right.
And I hope with the snow that they're still going to have it on. But I'm going to read a Dr. Seuss book. Otherwise, I'd love to be down there sitting on Patty's lap right now.
Well, we had to call in a last-minute replacement. We got the #1 podiatrist.
She's not sitting in my
from
lap.
Mount Kisco. And I just checked. She's here. She says, when do I go on? I said, you just did. Wow. Dr. Jill Berkowitz is here.
There. How do you like the bagels? They just make those for you.
Amazing. Everything is delicious.
And the smoked, hey, by the way, that smoked salmon is right up from Maine, up where up in the Bay of Fundy there.
Wow.
I know, you know, anything he sells, he takes pictures of him in the place where they make it.
The source.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
We've been up there, and you know what? I turned on Martha Stewart to our salmon fishermen up there, and she's doing a whole line of salmon products right now.
Yeah.
What about there's a story, and he didn't want me to tell it, I'm sure. They had the Stu Leonard crew, and they're going up to Canada to shoot a commercial. And they get to the border there, all right? And one of the guys they got in the crew has a drug record. Whoa. And they say, sorry, you can't come in. So they had to rent hotel rooms and spend the night because they didn't want to leave the kid alone.
Right.
Yeah.
How'd that work out? Okay, everything came out?
We had to leave him on this side of the border. We still went. We still went up with all our fish guys up to meet the fishermen.
Right. The poor drug guy, he had to stay back.
Yeah, I know. Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, appreciate your telling that story. What book are you reading today, if you get to read it? Do you know? Or are they going to give it to you?
You know, I don't know exactly. It was a Dr. Seuss book.
Yeah, it should be Green Eggs and Ham for you.
Probably.
Are you going to have somebody walk you through it, Stu?
Yeah, I'm going to mumble. I'm going to mumble on a few of the big words in there.
Do you still have the Moo Cow van? Is that still all right?
Yeah, we have the Moo Cow van going, and you know what? We're going to celebrate. I'm going to ask you. We're going to celebrate our 50-year anniversary at Stu Leonard's.
Wow,
50 years.
Wow.
So maybe I can get you and Patty to help us out when we.
Whatever you want, we'll be there.
Live from the dairy department, Scott Shannon in the morning.
I'm back here with a cow.
Hey, we just got to get your moo down. That's all. We can do a moo.
Yeah, we can do.
That's like you cue the weather weasel, man, with that kind of stuff. John just jumps in there.
I'm not going to milk that kind of comedy. That's utterly. Where's the beef? Where's the beef?
He is Stu Leonard. We love you, man. I'll see you soon.
Thanks. Congratulations on 5 years, guys.
Thank you.
Lots of love to you.
Coming up, Taylor Dane's going to be here. Kevin Nealon will be here. Oh, you know what? There is a lady who I saw that sent in her application to be here, and she loves the blast off. And I mentioned her name yesterday, and I can't remember who it was. Mary Ann.
Look, no one raises their hand.
Is Mary Ann here?
No, she's not here.
Oh,
we've interviewed everyone. Can't find her.
Yeah.
You can't find her?
A mystery woman.
She was going to get to do the blast off with John. She was going to do the Monday, Tuesday.
It was going to be Mary Ann and Ginger.
That's actually really good.
When you go home, do you just turn all that off?
There's no off switch up here, buddy.
No.
There's no off switch.
Back in a flash. Is everybody here? You ready for the countdown for the blast off?
Yes.
I might have to have Ross help me a little bit with my voice is starting to go.
No, I hear it.
I woke up this morning, I just had some kind of a cold. I don't know what happened. I was fine yesterday.
Yeah, you were fine yesterday.
7:52, back in a flash, celebrating 5 years on CBS-FM. Shannon and the Big Show.
On CBS-FM, New York.
Everybody's videoing this damn thing. I'm nervous. Oh, man. It's like 100 cell phones looking at me. Wow. John?
And one really close.
I don't need that close one. Get that out of here.
Oh, you look gorgeous.
All right, this is, we've never done this before. We got an exotic production here. Dan Taylor's going to be the official voice.
Ooh.
John Elliott's going to do it. And then a cast of 200 will join in.
Wow.
A live weekend blast-off spectacular. Transmitting absolutely direct from the world-famous radio.com theater.
Woohoo!
It's a nearly famous, highly outrageous, but never ever contagious and slightly hoarse weekend blast-off spectacular. Hit it, John.
Reach over, grab your knob, crank up your radio, and get ready to kiss the week.
Welcome to the weekend.
Monday. No. Everybody, come on. One more time, Dan.
You went off too early, folks.
All right, here we go.
If I had $1.
Take two. Welcome to the weekend.
Monday,
Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Thank God it's Friday.
I knew we were asking for trouble on that one, folks.
Amateurs.
Come on now. Gathered here today to to celebrate our 5th anniversary in the Radio.com theater.
Yes!
I apologize for my froggy voice this morning. I didn't have it yesterday.
It's kind of sexy, actually.
No, it's not sexy.
I don't know
That's
about
not
that.
sexy.
No.
817, my friend Kevin Mott is here, the world's #1 yacht rock fan. Stand up, Kevin, so they can see what a yacht rock fan looks like. Come on, stand up.
Who's your buddy? Come on.
Where'd he go?
He's not allowing.
He's on the
He's
yacht.
gone. He was here a minute ago.
Yeah.
You shamed him out of the room?
Right.
Well, and
Apparently.
we also say good morning to Dr. Jill Berkowitz. He's here this morning. Stand up, Jill.
She
She's on
wants
the
to
back.
massage your feet for you.
She's the #1 podiatrist.
I didn't even know that was, a competition. But
#1 in Mount Kisco. How many are there? About 3?
No, there's a whole bunch.
There is?
number one.
Yeah, Mount Kisco is like the medical hub of northern Westchester.
My friend Robert Sherwood goes to her. He used to be a DJ back
I
in
can't
his
admit
day.
that because of privacy rules.
That's
Okay.
right.
No, wait.
Wow.
Thank you for coming, Jill. Thank you for making
having
the
me.
trip.
It's such a pleasure. After
You got
talking
your
to
friend
guys
Dan
and
with
hearing
you?
Yes, he's right here.
Hey, Dan.
Adorable.
What are you doing back there? He's hiding out.
And my husband is a little worried.
He should be. Look at Dan.
I think Dan's won in about 4 states. Look at him. He just got that look, doesn't he? There's no
Can't get
doubt
into
about
Canada.
it. And here's what Kevin got me: a little penguin that goes with Kermit the Wonder Frog.
Nice.
We have a stuffed animal collection up here, and I think it's time.
Yes, we need to plug Dunkin' for providing the donuts and coffee to celebrate our 5-year anniversary. Head to your local Dunkin' and enjoy a medium-sized Dunkin' latte or cappuccino for only $2 between 2 and 6 p.m. Patty has our big song of the day.
Yeah, $1,000 song of the day is Benny and the Jets by Elton John. It's going to play in the 2 p.m. hour with that hunk of man right there, Dan Taylor.
Dan Taylor.
Look at him.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our 5th anniversary cake.
There you go.
Uh-oh. This looks like a carrot cake.
Looks like a big,
That's a big carrot cake.
It's beautiful.
Oh.
Yeah, please
There
don't
it
drop
is.
it.
And by the way, Joey from Staten Island is working today, and he's taking pictures and telling everybody, showing videos. He'll post them up on our Facebook page, and of course our Twitter page, and of course all the other pages. And we have. Did everybody get one of the souvenir posters?
I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't get one.
You didn't get one?
None of us got
We
it.
ran out.
Look
With
how
us-
beautiful we are in this. It's weird.
Yeah. Photoshop, folks.
Yeah.
Airbrushing.
Somebody's going to file a lawsuit for misrepresentation. And on the back, too, you can try to guess who the celebrities are, the different celebrities over the past 5 years on the Big Show.
Don't have to guess the names are at the bottom, but yeah.
Well,
but I'm saying,
cover them up and
if
guess.
you don't look, thank you. Thank you, Ross. Now, Taylor Dane is here. We'll bring her out in just a second. We are live and direct from the Radio.com Theater, Hudson Square, celebrating 5 years, and hopefully we can get another week or two out of this. Oh, God. And we have a very special guest, a young lady who I've known for several years. We were there when she first released the song. She was playing clubs all over Long Island, and sometimes when you're an artist and you work in a cover band, you kind of like give away your future. You think, well, I'll never be on TV or anything like that, but this is okay working in England. She didn't accept that. She said, I got to do more than that. I want to be on Z100.
Oh, boy.
I want to be on the radio, and that's what happened. Please welcome Taylor Dane.
Yes.
Taylor Dane is here. Right over here, dear. Holy cow. I feel like I lived your life with you. I just read your book. She has a brand new She has a brand new book out called Tell It To My Heart.
Let me see that.
That's right there.
Have you read it?
Wow.
You ought to get it. It's really
Did you
good.
read it? Well, you told me that
I read it. I didn't realize. I got to tell you something. I remember when I first realized that about the other sex.
the other
And
is this unbelievable?
I went through a period in my life where it was just I wasn't very. I got out of control, And then, and I'm reading this book. I said, I didn't know girls did that too.
Really? You did, well, who did it with you then?
Well,
let that go.
I mean, I never.
I mean that in a. You were very classy about it.
I think I was.
Unlike
This
me.
isn't a kiss and tell book, guys. Trust me.
Well,
This isn't a where I've been and where I wish I was, and
right.
but it's very, very, it's a 30-year journey. This is my tell it to my heart. It's the last 30 years of, and quite honestly, it's the 20 years prior to that, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's really how you get where you're going.
Sure.
Well,
and, there's a lot more story to tell.
I made a good point because you were working in clubs and you were in different bands and you had different swingallies that were trying to help you. And this is what you got to do. But you really didn't get going until you said, you know what? I've listened to too many people. I'm going to listen to my heart.
That's right.
And
Tell it to
you
my
wanna-
heart. Absolutely. Listen, your own voice. I mean, I don't think even Gaga could say it better. Every time you fall, it's how you get up, which defines.
Oh, boy.
Really, it really
Isn't that
is.
the truth?
It's
Yeah.
such a. I used to say, I'm like Dorothy from Wizard of Oz. It's the yellow brick road. I have fallen off that yellow brick road many a time, but it's how I get back up, dust back off, roll your sleeves up, and get back on
what
that
to
path.
learn from it. Yeah.
Well, I'm lucky. I'm one of the fortunate ones. I always have to say, because I have brothers, and that I always knew what I wanted.
Mm-hmm.
I knew I wanted to be that annoying little rock star. Remember that? In the book, I said I was like singing to the radio, doing, that was it. 4 or 5 years old, I had my first solo. So I'm blessed that way.
Oh.
But I think each and every one of us has that very unique talent. You happen to love a microphone, don't you?
I do. Yeah,
Scott?
some of them. Well,
He
no,
likes to talk and share his talk. And
There was
thoughts.
a point, though. There was a point because I had heard about you before you ever had a hit out. They said there
Is
was
that true?
Yeah, there was a girl singing. I forget the name of the club, but
In
you
Brooklyn?
had this incredible voice,
Yeah.
and she's got two voices, that real sweet voice, and then that come and get me voice.
The roar, the fierce.
The come and get me voice.
Yeah.
Wow.
A little raspy. Yeah.
But no,
Scott, did we miss a window? Am I missing something here?
Well, there's always a window.
I mean, there's a window.
I should have been right in there in the book after Robert Plant.
Right.
Okay, but Robert Plant was like my idol, right? So
You couldn't even talk when you met him.
no, there wasn't much to say. He was massaging me, saying my mates, and I'm like, this is Robert Plant. Why is he touching me? This is too much to
Why
bear.
not?
And
Well, then,
hopefully he
I
won't
get it. I
That
mean,
was a funny story, but it was cute. You handled
it's
it.
an amazing story in the book, and it's just why I wanted to stay where he was. But at the same time, I had to go get on a private jet and go do the BMI Awards. And
Poor thing.
Yeah.
Poor thing. I said, poor me. I did. And he told me what in the book? What did he say?
We'll make it up later or something to that.
He says,
effect.
I don't do award shows, darling.
That's right. I forgot about that part. She invited him to go with her to the award show.
Look at you. Wow.
No, I can't
Equal
do that.
opportunity.
Yeah.
I can't do that. I can't go to award shows. But the one thing about it is you knew what you wanted to do. There's one area in there where you focused on radio and you were going through a time in your life that wasn't that great.
Yes.
And you said, well, I can turn the radio on and hear myself.
Well, that was the first thing I ever did, and that happened to be here in New York. I grew up in Long Island, and the first gift I remember receiving from my father was a transistor radio box, those little Sony boxes. And this was very late 60s, early 70s. And I think I remember turning on that Sony box, and the first song was My Sharia Moore.
Wow.
Stevie Wonder.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
You know
You don't
what?
forget that.
I've got pretty good memories, but I can't remember the first song I heard. Tell me where you were, what you were doing the first time you heard your voice on the radio.
Well, the first time I heard my voice was probably through a 12-inch, a single that I was hoping would grow onto radio, and those were those mix shows at 12 o'clock midnight, if you remember, when the DJs were pushing, and I was like, wow.
KTU.
Yeah, KTU, guys. I mean, seriously, it broke some of my, my very first records. Amazing stuff. Listen, New York is my home, my heart. WBLS, those mix shows, really, really, and of course, Kiss FM. But I have to say, it was in the car. Waiting probably till 11:59 when they started to play it. AM, 12 a.m.
And that's when you want to roll the window down, and anybody you can see, you go, Hey, that's me right there.
Turn up the volume.
No, you just sit there and you go, roll the windows up, because that's what we did. Roll the windows up. And I had like a little Datsun B210 rolling around, and I was still working in the Russian clubs. And, of course, every band I was in, I graduated high school, 18. It was drinking age available at that time. I'm sorry, you poor people suffer. They're 21 now. But I was in the clubs from 17, you know.
Yeah.
That's why you like a lot of my stories, Scott, because I was in the clubs at 16. Illegal, like with, you know, fake ID.
But you learned your way around, and you learned...
I certainly did. I knew where I wanted to sing in the clubs then. You know, it was live music was the big thing. Acts that were breaking were actually Setzer. The Stray
Brian
Cats
Setzer,
acts that were coming out of Long Island was Joan Jett. Brian Setzer, Billy Joel, of course, was already in the 70s, and, you know, we could only aspire for that. It was, and then Patti Benatar broke, so it was a big deal.
Great book.
Yeah.
Tell It to My Heart, Taylor Dane. It's out right now. And you know what I like? It's funny, too, because she puts a lot of pictures in there.
I figured you guys I figured.
Well, most people, that's one of the coolest things about books, because I like to see the artists before they got famous. And there's plenty of pictures in here that are from the early days.
Yeah, there's a photo of me at the bitter end, and I think the one where I'm punky schmunky was the look, if anything. Very new wave.
Yeah.
But that was Les Lee. That was, you know, pre-Taylor Dane. Wow. All those singles, all that work, all the clubs, I definitely put it in.
I said this the last time we had you on the show. I said your voice and your delivery now, I think, better than ever. You're just going the other way. Most artists who have been around a while
to fade,
start to disintegrate just a little.
Are we talking vocally? Because I think, you know, I'm challenging you. I'm challenging you. Yeah. I'm
talking about
I'm fine
your voice.
Okay, thank you, Scott. I just want to be clear.
Taylor Dane is here. I think we could sing a little then. Speaking of your voice.
You're going to sing too, Scott.
I'm not. I can barely talk. How am I going to sing?
Okay.
I would love to.
That's great.
All right, Taylor, will you please take
I would love to.
Center
stage. Get up and do it?
We're set. We're ready. Taylor Dane, give it to her.
Thank you so much.
Taylor Dane.
Thank you so much for this honor. Thank you.
Holy cow.
How sexy
I think I'll put that here. Right?
That's amazing.
I got to tell you what. There's a lot of female singers and male singers out there right now, and you put them on this little stage in front of this audience.
At 8 o'clock in the morning.
And they freak out.
I was going to say it's rather early.
You kicked ass. That was great.
I'll say.
You know, you think back, and I watch you handle the microphone and the stage and the crowd, and people don't know how much experience you have to have before you can do that effectively. You know, because many years at Odessa and some of those clubs.
You mean Brighton Beach in Brooklyn?
Yeah,
That was
some of those clubs you worked in every night. You had to put up with jerks in the crowd screaming at you and all that. People.
Yeah, a couple of guns and a couple of, you know. This was the Russian nightclubs. They were very passionate about Lucia, Davai means play again. But the money was flowing. I've never met more incredible people. But you're right. That's called the outliers. You know, you put the time in, those 10,000 hours or everything. You know, that night after night in those clubs are what taught me and helped me make that, you know, create that muscle inside of me that, you know, I learned how to become an entertainer, a performer.
Yeah, that's funny. There's a big difference between being a singer and being an entertainer.
You bet. Well, Michael Jackson showed me that, showed the world that.
Tell me about your experience with Michael Jackson. You actually opened up for him on a tour.
I had the privilege of my very first tour. You know, I was a phenomenon with the first single, Tell It to My Heart, came out. It was huge in Europe first, broke there. They probably were just like, well, we're not going to put your picture on the record. Let everybody believe what you are. Figure out what you are. I felt the same way. I mean, between my hair out here and my lips like this, so I was like, fine. But in Europe, it was quite the storm. And that's where he started his bad tour. And if that's where it was, I picked up about a month of dates, and I was shocked, as you would be shocked, since I was playing a club in Boston to break the record here. But in Europe, I was like on some wharf in Boston, and they go, Michael, you're going to be opening up for Michael for the Bad Tour, and I'm
the
like,
Bad Tour.
That,
wow.
What?
Wait, are you talking to me?
Man,
like, that's the biggest tour ever.
Yeah, that was just a little bit of pressure,
just
huh?
Well, I basically hyperventilated, almost had diarrhea attacks every time before I went out on stage, because these were Michael liked fandemonium.
Yeah.
Like he hosed the audience, not him personally, but remember the photos of people hysterical.
Yeah.
Did he
dying,
ever-
like in the Beatles, like crazy stuff.
Did you ever have it just a one-on-one chat?
I did. And he was very mild-mannered, very lovely, and I didn't have a friendship with him, but on the tour I met, of course, Sheryl Crow, who was background. I was with Greg Filliganes. I mean, the players were it was 150 trucks, guys, and 2 shows a week. And I have to say that playing volleyball on the beaches in Nice, and then in Würzburg and all over in Barcelona, and these were stadiums of 90,000 people. It was amazing. Meeting Michael, he was just like, so nice to meet you. Hi, Frank. She's exhausting my audience. We need to get rid of her. Like, look at her. She's taking over the show. And I'm like, that is not possible. I'm taking over the show. But yes, his manager was Frank DeLeo, God rest his soul, who said, I'm going to manage you after this tour, girl. And he did.
Frank had that big cigar going.
Do you remember him? If you saw the Michael and Frank when they were looking at each other in that classic photo, and then he was in Goodfellas, of course. Tootie, we call him.
Yeah, he was great.
Tootie, amazing guy.
He told me a story one time. He said that he'd be just going to sleep, and he had a little scotch there and a cigar, and all of a sudden...
cigar?
There'd be a knock on his door, and he opened the door crack. Hi, Frank, I need to talk to you.
Yeah, Frank, wait, I got a better one. Is this fair? This is a funny... Well, he would tell me the best stories about Michael, but he said this one. He goes, I had a phone in my house. And I go, yeah. And he goes, it was a red phone. I told Belinda, I told Dominic, and I told Linda, don't touch this phone. Ever. I mean, he was like a little mob, And I go, okay. And he goes, that was Michael's phone. So when Michael would call, and he go, Michael... Frank, how did you know it was me? How did you know I was calling? He goes, I felt you. The red phone. Classic, DeLeo stuff. The Michael hotline. You better believe it.
That's
Michael,
funny.
we're talking Michael Jackson. It was a hotline.
Yeah. Now we have a special celebrity checking in this morning, and I'm sure you met Bob Saget somewhere along the line.
Oh, my God. Hi, Bob.
Hi, guys. Happy anniversary, Scott. I'm really happy. But
The voice of Taylor Dane telling Michael Jackson stories.
I sound like her now. This time.
Bob, we go back. Be easy. I love it. Yeah, amazing.
Wait a minute.
No, I like her. Just having fun. Happy 5-year anniversary. That most managers don't last that long.
Let me tell you what. It's all because of you. The first time we had you on the show, the ratings exploded. We've been fine ever since.
I'm so glad.
It was all you.
I like to spread my rating seed everywhere.
Now, aren't you getting ready to do another? You got. I saw you. I think I got a Twitter feed on you. You were doing a new America's Funniest Home Videos, almost X-rated, right?
Yeah, grown-up version.
Yeah, it won't be X because it's ABC, and that would close down the shop. It's going to be on 2 weeks from now, March 12th. It premieres first look after the ending of The Bachelor. And it's called Videos After Dark. It has nothing to do with the other show except it has videos. But it's more my stand-up character. So there's a, it's like PG-14. I don't know what they call it. PG-17. I think 17 or something.
Okay.
But it's like, you want to put the kids to bed. There's a lot of blurred butt cracks and
nice
and babies cursing, and it's all bleeped. And I'm
Perfect.
Blast. We're doing 14 of them. So thank you.
You're doing a great place, the Count Basie Theater in April.
Mm-hmm. I love it there. Yeah. I'm doing a lot of fun dates in April. I'm doing the PlayStation Theater on the 13th.
Right.
And Count Basie, is it right after it? You know more than me about me.
I got it all down there, man. I got them all. And season 4 of Fuller House right now on Netflix.
Yeah, we're shooting season 5 this year. They say our final season. And you know my joke, one day it'll be Fullest House, and it'll be me in an urn by the window. That's what it'll be.
Nice. He is Bob Saget. We'll see you next time you're in town, Bob. Yeah. Thank you, man.
Congratulations, Scott. Happy anniversary.
Thank you so much. Bob Saget at 8:51. Taylor Dane, do you have one more song in you?
I think I have another song or two.
I got that.
Does that mean right now?
No. Well, wait a second.
He's like, no.
She goes, right now? No. I got to get some more stories out of you. Back in a flag.
Radio.com.
The home of New York's greatest hits. WCBS-FM and WCBS-FM HD1 New York.
A Radio.com station.
101.1 WCBS-FM, New York.
You're listening to the Big Show 5-year anniversary celebration on CBS-FM.
Awesome. Thank you all for coming out today.
Oh, what fun.
And we talk about 5 years on CBS-FM. I have to say thank you to the audience, the people who listen every day, the P1ers on the way to work, and the people who are housebound, and everyone who takes time to listen to our show, because we really care about doing the best show we can do. And some days it's not as best as other days.
Well, that's okay. That's part of our charm.
That's it.
But also the people that managed to get here today, because I know how crappy the roads were, having gone through it, and we really appreciate that the theater here is filled. It's really wonderful. And I know it's not just us. It's because of Taylor, but that's okay.
And thank you to Taylor Swift for coming by. Taylor Dane.
I've done that myself. No.
I almost...
Let me put the book in front of you.
Listen, I did that once to Jennifer Holiday. I said Jennifer Hudson. That didn't go over well either. Scott, I love you. I love you, Scott.
I always get... You know what? I call her Taylor Dane sometimes.
Taylor Swift?
Yeah.
You know what? Did she smile and say,
Yeah, she
I was
did.
named? Yeah, bet she did. I do, too.
You know what she said? I swear to God, she said, I grew up listening to her.
I bet her mother grew up listening to me real hard. Oh, yeah.
We thank you so much for taking
I love
time.
you. Happy 5th, guys.
The book
really.
is out. Tell It to My Heart. It's a great book. A lot of wonderful pictures of your beautiful twins.
Thank you.
And your career.
And an honest take on her life, which is refreshing. It's fun.
She doesn't beat around the bush, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, no.
Plus, let me also say she's playing at the Mohegan Sun March 22nd.
Ooh,
Yes,
fun.
yes. I kick off the tour again.
Road trip.
Let's hear it for Taylor Dane one more time.
Thank you.
Hit the song. Show, ladies and gentlemen, another fine star, one of our favorite stand-up comedians. He's been on the show before. Saturday Night Live alumni. Please welcome Mr. Kevin Nealon back to the show.
Yes!
There he is.
Hi, he's tall.
Do you get nervous when you come out on a stage like this, Kevin? This is amazing, isn't it?
Scott, I'll tell you, I didn't know there'd be an audience. I thought it was just you and me and some other sidekick you had. And so I'm totally shocked by this.
Meet some other.
But I would imagine now, after all the shows you've done, 1,000 in 5 years, you would have an audience from now on. You're a spectacle.
You know, it's so funny. I saw you walk out on our little stage, and I'm thinking how many times you walked out on the Saturday Night Live stage, and I'm thinking, this is kind of rinky-dink.
No, this is...
magnificent.
Well, you'd be surprised. Have you been up to the Studio 8H at Rockefeller
Yeah, I've been
Plaza?
there. Yeah.
For Saturday Night Live, it's a lot smaller than it looks on TV.
Than you would think, right?
In fact, it's about half this size.
Hey, congratulations on the TV hit, man. That's not... You know, when people sign on to do these television shows, you never know what's going to happen. You can't. You know, that's the thing about being in entertainment as an actor or as a comedian, but mostly as an actor. You don't know how long it's going to last.
It's a lot like life, Scott. You don't know what's going to
you're right.
I'm kind of at that age now where I'm ready to drop any time. And that's the same with a TV show. You're ready for them to pull the plug any minute, you know?
He's on with Matt LeBlanc. Maybe you know the show, Man with a Plan.
Yes, on CBS.
Come on, huh? How great is that show? Matt LeBlanc from Friends. Mm-hmm. Joey, how you doing?
How you doing?
You know, it's kind of funny because when Friends finally signed off after many successful years, each of the stars of that show tried new things, obviously.
Sure, yeah.
Some of them more successful than others.
Yeah.
And here comes Matt LeBlanc now, and he's got a big hit.
Mm-hmm.
He's had hit after hit since Friends, you know?
he
He did
has.
episodes on Showtime. Yeah. He was doing Top Gear on BBC for several years.
Big in my house.
He loves cars.
Cars.
I'm telling you, if you want to get Matt a birthday gift,
Get him a car.
I know it's on your top of your list.
A Porsche.
Get him either a power tool, because he loves power tools. He used to be in carpentry and things like that. And he loves cars and Ducati motorcycles. But if you want, if you just want to get him something small, get him an oil rag. He loves to, in a scene, he'll love to hold an oil rag, Scott. And it's almost like a pacifier for him.
Massage it.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was your first movie, but you worked with Steve Martin and Roxanne. That was one of your first projects,
That's right. I was drunk number 2.
He's the best.
I was drunk number 2 in Roxanne, and I had a little sword fight with Steve in the beginning with another guy, Rich Scheidner. He was drunk number 1. I fought for drunk number 1, but they gave me drunk number 2.
How's drunk number 1 doing now?
Drunk. He's drunk still. Yeah. No, I'm kidding. I think he's doing great. He's a writer, a great writer, and a good stand-up. There was a lot of us stand-up comics on that movie, Scott. And we shot it up in Nelson, British Columbia. It's a little ski town. And I'm telling you, I was up there for like 3 weeks. They're waiting for the right kind of a coverage, cloud coverage, to shoot our scene.
Wow.
And so we just hung out, and they did a big fundraiser for the local fire department there.
Right.
Because there was a lot of comics on the show, on the movie that we were shooting. And Steve got word that we were going to do a benefit for the fire department. And he says, well, maybe I'll MC it. And he hadn't done stand-up comedy in like 10 years.
Wow.
So this is a lot of excitement, especially for the comics. And he said, but don't announce it. Don't announce it. Okay, we won't. Well, the night of the fundraiser, there was a line wrapped around the building like 3 times because word got out. And people drove up from the States to Canada to see him do stand-up.
Wow.
Yeah.
How was he? Was he good?
Yeah, it was. You were just watching him going, oh my God, he's doing stand-up again. Yes, that's Steve Martin. He's doing it. Yeah, great.
I've never seen him flop.
No, I haven't either.
Every time, he always, and you don't know, he makes you think that it's not going to work, and then all of a sudden, kaboom.
Well, the thing about his stand-up is it was supposedly flop comedy. Everything he did was, it was supposed to be
You're making
not
me
good.
laugh just talking about it.
I know.
Yeah, it was not supposed to be good comedy, and that was what made it funny, I think.
Yeah.
He's just a wild and crazy guy, but he wasn't wild and crazy.
Not at all.
He was,
Art collector, serious guy.
Yeah, very serious.
Yeah.
Except he had the arrow through his head.
Well, there is that.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He was doing the stuff that obviously you knew he wasn't.
Yeah,
he wasn't that guy.
I saw him with the Steve Martin Mole show when he was performing with Martin Mull.
Yeah, and now he's on the road with Marty Short.
Yeah.
He only works with Martys.
Yeah, really.
Martin Mull and Marty Short.
I'm the number one. I'm the go-to Marty sidekick.
Yeah.
Well, you do a lot of stand-up too, still, don't you?
I do a lot of stand-up. In fact, I'm here at Caroline's in the city this week.
Cool.
It's a great club. I've been working there for years, and I love doing stand-up, Scott. It's really what I started off doing.
I can't remember who it was. We interviewed a female comedian recently, and we talked about you really want to get another TV series
From Chelsea
going.
lately, yeah.
And she said, I really can't afford to do that anymore.
To do stand-up?
Well, no.
Or to do Chelsea late?
To do television, because there's so much money to be made with the Netflix type of specials.
And with the podcast, she's doing a podcast. She has like 39 million downloads.
Really?
In her podcast.
You're giving me ideas here.
I see that head going.
These gears turning. Podcast.
Well, I have a show on a web series which is doing very well. Not 39 million, but
but you're working
not
on
that
it.
well. But it's called Hiking with Kevin, and I hike with a different celebrity every week.
I love that. Where do you hike?
Mostly in the canyons of Los Angeles. Although I was just in Salt Lake City hiking in
Beautiful.
Sundance, hiking in the snow, snowshoeing with Donny Osmond.
It's gorgeous there.
And so I hike.
What was he? The bee?
No, the peacock.
The peacock.
Do you know what? On the hike, I asked him. I said, "Come on." This was before they announced it. I said, "Are you the peacock? Come on, be honest with me." And he looked at me. He goes, "I'm telling you, I'm getting so much coverage from the rumor that I'm the peacock." And I said, "So you're telling me that you're not the peacock?" He goes, "Every time I turn around," he goes, "I think it's Neil Patrick Harris because he had the long wig and he has a great voice. Whoever it is, he's got a great voice."
Sure.
So
his sister blew it though. She basically Marie's got a big mouth. She
was on the talk or something.
She told everybody that was him.
She did.
Yeah.
Oh, he must be furious about that. Yeah. So anyway, the hiking show has been doing really well.
When you're doing those hiking shows,
I love that.
I mean, you must hike as a hobby too.
I'm calling it hiking, but it's really walking up an incline. You know, I'm not.
They tilt the thing so it looks like you're going up.
Well, that's what I noticed, Scott.
No rock
No matter
climbing.
how steep the trail is, when you look at it in a video, it looks kind of like it's flattish, you know.
Yeah.
So I stay away from the steep trails, and I just kind of stick to the ones that are medium. And I have, some hikers don't like inclines, like David Spade. He just wanted to flatline, just go kind of walk.
Let's go down Hollywood Boulevard.
Yeah. And you could tell those people because they usually have a cup of coffee when they're walking.
Well, they're hiking. Yeah.
Real hikers.
Real hikers, yeah. I mean, I've hiked with everyone from Caitlyn Jenner to Adam Sandler, Tiffany Haddish.
How was Caitlyn as a
Kate
hiker?
Beckinsale. Great. I mean, she was probably the best hiker out of
bet.
all of them. And Chelsea Handler also was very athletic. And Molly Shannon
Do you
was
talk
great.
about hiking, or you just talk
Not really.
about
No,
all
we
of it?
just talk. Because I don't know if you've ever hiked or walked on a trail.
Sure.
People have a propensity just to talk, especially when there's not eye contact. They're a lot more forthcoming.
Yeah.
Because they're
Really?
looking forward and they're talking. And I love walking even alone just because it's great therapy and meditation. And I'm very creative when I'm walking.
Yeah.
I come up with a lot of ideas.
Yeah.
But what does somebody have to walk backwards while they're taping?
That's a good question. People think that. But that would be impossible on some of the trails we go on. So I have a selfie stick.
You're shooting.
Yeah, with a camera at the end of it, and I've kind of
That's
really.
a lot of work for
That's
you.
a money maker right there. You save a lot of union money.
That's right. But it's evolved. I started with a selfie stick and just a cell phone camera, but it was really shaky, and people were writing in saying, "Get a steady cam."
Have you been drinking
You're
while you
Kevin
hike?
Nealon.
Yeah,
What
you
are
can afford
doing?
it. So some guy actually was a fan of the show, and he sent me in this whole rig that he made with a GoPro on the end and a carbon graphite
and they
selfie
have
stick and also a mic that had they call it a dead cat, that blocks the wind, furry kind of a covering. Because I
Don't
did
tell Beth Stern about
Dead
the dead cat.
No. I did a hike, Scott. I did a hike with Michael Keaton,
Right.
and it was
man.
great. It was great, and we hiked for about an hour, and then I got home and I played it back, and it was so windy. Here's what I heard: the whole thing. I couldn't use half of it. I couldn't
The
use
dead
half
cat
of it.
didn't work?
I didn't have the dead cat then.
Now he does.
Yeah.
That's
So
poor
I
the
was
guy
dead.
saw you, and he said, felt sorry for you.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, but
Kevin.
do you have to watch your step? I mean, you don't have any kind of obstruction with holding it and shooting it?
It's very small. I couldn't hold a big camera. It's like a square thing like that.
That'd be funny if you had one of those big shoulder things. And
Yeah.
Steadicam, yeah.
Yeah, a whole deal.
I had lights everywhere. Yeah, but a lot of times, Scott, people will come to show up for the hike. It's just me, and they say, "Where's the crew and stuff?" I said, "Well, no, it's just me and the selfie stick."
Which is cool because I'll bet the conversation is much more intimate that
Oh
way.
yeah. But I am thinking about maybe bringing a studio audience one time behind me. Just
You'll all
hiking.
have to walk back.
we got the candidate right here.
Yeah.
They have to walk back.
We just got to get a certain radio DJ hiking.
Yeah.
All right. Kevin Nealon is here.
We're a golf
and
cart for him.
Matt LeBlanc is co-star season 3 of Man with a Plan. Monday nights, 8:30. What network?
CBS.
Thank you very much. And Caroline's, 2 shows tonight, 2 more tomorrow night. Tickets at carolines.com. Thank you so much for coming by.
Thanks for having me, Scott. Thanks, everybody.
Good job.
Thank you.
Go take a nap.
Hiking with Kevin. Back in a flash at CBS-FM. Kermit the Wonder Frog's last show today, and he did a great job. Thank you very much.
We love you, Kermit.
I love you all.
Over the weekend, he's going to make the transition. He's going to be a Trevor.
Oh, okay.
Transition. Did you have to do the pause right there?
Right.
He's going to be a yeah.
A Trevor.
Trevor.
And an AM.
All right, Caitlin.
Hey, thanks to Henry and Martin, our engineers today. Great job, all the folks from our promotion department, Jessica, Christine, Lauren, Jeannie, Raquel, the new team, our program director who eliminated his usual Florida trip to be here today.
Yes, he was here.
Yeah. Special appearance from Jim Ryan.
The legend Jim Ryan.
Yeah.
Or was his plane canceled because of the snow?
No, it was not. He made the conscientious decision. Give him full credit.
Okay.
Thank you to Stu Leonard. Thanks to our friends from Dunkin' Donuts. Taylor Dane, we love you. Kevin Nealon, you're awesome. Bob Saget, Maury Povich, and all the friends of the Big Show over the past 5 years. You know who I just ran into who came down to say hello? Joe Beningo
Oh, yeah.
from The Fan.
The Fan.
Emily West came by today. Mark Chernoff, who is the program director over there. And, of course, all our friends here. Ross, thank you for coming by.
All right, my pleasure. Can I say happy birthday to one of our audience members?
Which member is it?
Lillian Brennis.
No, you don't want to say happy birthday to her.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Lillian. Monday morning, we begin our voyage into our next 5 years. And I would appreciate it if every one of you continued to listen.
Oh, and
for the
would be
next
here. And you'll get your voice back, you think?
Yeah. I don't know. Of course, it's not an important show or anything like that. My voice worked all week.
Right.
And then I wake up this morning. I sound like Kermit.
I kind of liked it. It was cute. Yeah. It was fun.
All right. Dan Taylor's up next. He gets upset if we get him in late. We love him. And Broadway Bill, thanks for coming by today. Johnny, thank you for your trip.
You bet. Stay
Sue,
safe.
Patty, have a wonderful weekend.
Thank you, you too.
Brad, never mind.
I think it's been a wonderful 5 years, Scott. I turned up with you on day 4, I think, of your
day 4 you found your way
odyssey.
over. Luckily, you lived in the neighborhood.
That's right. Yeah, just rolled in.
The neighborhood. Thank you so much, each and every one of you, for listening and coming in today. Pray for our troops, our police officers, our firefighters, and all first responders. As usual, we love you for listening. And, bye,
Buckaroos!
This is the Shannon in the Morning Big Show podcast.